Hey, if you like this review and want to support, just hit this subscribe button right here to my left on the icon, or I'm going to have Game come to your house and check you.
I mean, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, you heard him. Also, don't forget to check out our most recent episode of The Culture. We run out a list of R&B female singers we think are either overrated or underrated. Beyonce, Janet, Keisha Cole, Alicia Keys. We give you all of our opinions on it. It was a hilarious episode. Please check that out after this review. Hey guys, I'm BMOC. You're now tuning to BMOC.TV. So today I'm back with a brand new album review from The Game, or maybe it's just Game. I know he like dropped the at one point, but then the came back, so it's The Game, I don't know. But anyways, he's back with the part 2 to the documentary. The documentary, as most of us know, is his debut album, a classic to me. He was on the G Unit, it was a big time in hip hop. So he's coming back with the sequel to that album. Now the cool thing is that this particular portion is like disc 1, and I think disc 2 drops like 2 weeks from now. So then when you go through the tracks from disc 1, I'm really loving the vibe from this. I think you guys will dig it too. So take a walk with me as I go through the track list. So the first full song is On Me, featuring Kendrick Lamar, which samples the Erykah Badu song On and On and On and On. Fire. You know, I'm really digging how like Game is kind of bringing things full circle with this being the sequel to a classic album, but also bringing, you know, the newer king of LA. They're both kings in their own right. You know, Kendrick Lamar on the track. People forget that on the Red album, Game actually had Kendrick start off that as well with The City, when Kendrick was just rising to the top. So it's cool to see him bring him back on the first full song of this album as Kendrick is where he is today. Then after that is a song called Step Up, which is cool because the beat like samples the I Get Around with the Then you have like the Brandy I Want to Be Down hook, but then Game's kind of rhyming like Notorious B.I.G. It's like a lot of mashups, which again isn't surprising. Game's always paying homage to, you know, older hip hop and even older R&B. So he's hearing all those kind of the fusion of different sorts was really cool and eclectic. Then after that's a song called Don't Trip, taking it back to, you know, the original record by Digital Planets. I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. That's an oldie but goodie. Some of y'all young heads better go and research that. It was dope. And it's produced by the legendary Dr. D.R.E. with will.i.am. You know, I can't even remember a time where they produced a track together. I gotta do my own research to see if they ever produced together. But it came out really good. And of course, we're loving Ice Cube's flow there. You know, Dre drops a verse. But, you know, I gotta be honest, Game's last verse just kind of like kills the song. You know, Game's the most active of the rappers, so I would hope he would be the person that had like the better verse on it. It's also cool, you know, at the intro of the song where Dr. Dre's talking about will.i.am and his history. A lot of people don't know that before, you know, the popular Black Eyed Peas will.i.am that you guys may know him for, he was originally signed to Ruthless Records under Eazy-E and was writing a lot of stuff and was being an artist. So to say, you know, they don't understand your history was spot on. After that, it's a song called Standing on Ferraris, which samples the song Kicking the Door, Waving the 4-4, you know, with Biggie. The beat, Diddy's on the hook, which is classic. But after that, we get to A Dollar and a Dream. Like, bars on bars on bars. I always say The Game's like one of my top 15 current active lyricists out here right now. And this track just kind of just proves it with this flow, man. Ab-Soul's on here too. He's no slouch. He's one of my favorites from TDE. If you don't know who Ab-Soul is, do your research, do your Googles. Word Virtual Star, do your Googles and check it out. But just bars everywhere. Then we get into a track called Made in America, where it's really just a soulful, laid-back, stripped-down beat, which allows Game to do a lot of storytelling. It's always great to have an MC who not only can display lyricism and the punchlines and the metaphors, but also can tell a really, really dope story too. And I think the beat kind of just fits it and makes it so that you hear every single thing that he's saying, which is dope. Next up's a song called Hashtag, which is cool. It reminds me of like the James Brown 70s blaxploitation gangsta watch me type of vibe, which is cool. The only thing I would say is that I was waiting for like the beat to drop, and I was waiting for Game to rap on when the beat dropped, because there's like a little trap beat at the end, and Game kind of gave us some bars, but he didn't rap when that dropped. So I was like waiting for it. I was like, okay, it's coming. It didn't really, you know what I'm saying, it didn't really drop it on the beat, but it's still a pretty cool track. So then we get to Circles, which is one of my favorite beats on the album. It's produced by Bongo, the drum god. I hope I'm saying his name right. He produced a lot of tracks on this album, man, so shout out to him. And so the first part of the song starts off with like Game having this like argument spat. You know, somebody he's in a relationship with, the singer Jaja, hope I'm saying her name right too, Jaja. Kind of like the singer portraying the girlfriend, and he's like kind of like the boyfriend or whatever the situation, which is pretty cool. Loving her vocals, and also Eric Bellinger, by the way, he's also on the hook. He does his thing. Then the second part of the beat comes, you hear like a fire verse from Q-Tip. It has a little deeper tone than what we're used to, but it's still fire. You definitely can tell it's the abstract. This is great. I think it's almost a perfect radio single if they wanted to market it that way. I'm not sure which direction they're gonna go, but that definitely would be a contender, in my opinion, as something that would push as a single. Then we get to a song called Dedicated, which is pretty interesting. You know, the first verse, it sounds like Game is dedicating that to his baby mother, former fiance Tiffany. We saw her on the VH1 show, Married a Game, and so I'm getting that because he's talking about like the two kids they had, and it kind of saying no matter who you're with now, who I'm with now, we're always gonna be kind of connected. At least that's what I got from it. The second verse is kind of dedicated to Compton and kind of reflecting back on some people who may want to do him harm, telling them that you don't want no problems, I'll come back and see you. We don't want no problems with the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool that on one part he's dedicated it to like a love in his life, and the second part's kind of dedicated to like where he's from and hometown. So, you know, pretty interesting. Then after that we get to a song with a funny title. It's Blank, You Ain't Blank. You can fill in your own blanks to what the blanks are. It's produced by Scott Storch, and the flow, kind of the lyrics, is paying homage to Explosive track from the Chronic 2001, which is a classic. Then we get to Summertime featuring Jelly Roll. This is definitely a great summertime song. It's produced by Mike Will, which Mike Will usually has more like bass heavy production. And this is more like really laid back with the chord, the piano. Like, okay, I see you, Mike Will, trying to switch it up on us. I'm also really loving the chords on the hook. You know, when Jelly Roll comes in and sings, that chord switch up with the piano key. Again, shout out to Mike Will. Game really has a lot of diverse production on this, from the trapper styles, like the West Coast style, to some of the New York sample records. He really tried to make this a really diverse overall project, which I appreciate. Then after that, we get to the song called Mula. So Mula is one of my favorite beats as well. It's produced by Seven Thomas and none other than Mr. Kanye West, who's also featured on the song. I love how the beat kind of like, it feels like it's going in reverse with the melody, with like the 808 drop, that forward steady drop, which is like a popular sound nowadays, which is, I get Game sounds at home. I mean, Game's flow can almost master any type of production, so it was great that he has this as kind of a current sound that's going on right now. I'm also loving the back and forth flow between him and Kanye. We need this Kanye. Kanye, if you hear me, I'm speaking for the community. We need more of this with your next project. I don't know when his next project's coming out, but I'm definitely loving this. I'm also loving the style he did with Big Sean's album as well, with the It's All Your Fault. And I'm loving that sound from him, man. So we need that. We need that back, Kanye. Be digging that. Then we get to the self-titled track called The Documentary, which is, again, one of my favorites. I actually rewound it back a few times as I was going through the album, but this one is hot. It's that boom bap feel. It's produced by DJ Premier and Dr. Dre. They both came together and produced Animal on Compton, the soundtrack by Dr. Dre. So this one was no surprise that they would work together, but it's that great boom bap 90s type of style. And the song showcases the Game going back to his older flow, his original flow in the documentary, you know, with the metaphors and the name dropping, and people was killing him for the name dropping, and not everybody does it in hip hop now. It's funny. I never had a problem with it because the bars were high. I'm worried about the bars. I don't care. You can name drop Diddy, Eminem, Michael Jackson, whoever he wants to name drop, as long as it rhymes and that the bars is hot, and this is definitely hot. And you know, the track ends pretty cool as well, with DJ Clue and Envy and Funkmaster Flex all giving the Game shoutouts. Definitely reminds me of those old like mid-90s mixtape records. We always hear like Clue and DJ Clue, and DJ's kind of like just like amping up the MC. You know, it's kind of like a lost art nowadays with digital media, and people get things so fast, so it's hard for DJs to get exclusives. So it was kind of cool just hearing these three guys together on a record like back in the day. Then Then we get to a track called New York, New York, which is really a special song he dedicates to Stephanie Mosley, who actually was murdered by her husband, Earl Hayes, who Game was signed to back in Aftermath in 2005. He dedicates the song to her and her family, so salute the Game for that. That was real classy. The beat is really soulful, and it has Game getting into a lot of different issues about politics and the shooting in Charleston. He name drops Obama. I guess he name drops again, talking about gay bashing and how that's wrong and all that. So only the Game is just so diverse. We have one album where he's like gang banging, and he's talking about a girl he's been messing with, then he's telling people to don't test them, that he's paying homage to hip hop, and now he's giving these different issues and his points of view of what's going on currently in the news. So only the Game, like I said, can pull this off to perfection. I think he did a great job on the song. Then we get to the single, the 100 song featuring Drake. Y'all better not come to my studio with that fake ish. I'm loving like the end of the summer type of vibe. Like the melody's kind of like laid back, but the drums have a little turn up to it. It really fits both well with Drake's flow and in Game's delivery. And of course, obviously people like to pick apart everything these MCs are saying nowadays. With Drake saying, if I would have stayed more conscious, I would have all your fans, to that effect. And people are like, oh, he's talking about Kendrick, he's talking about J. Cole, who he's talking about? It's kind of like, why does he have to be talking about somebody? I mean, he probably is talking about Kendrick. I don't know. But I don't care. I'm all about the bar. So if it happens to be a beef later down the line, I wouldn't be surprised. But if it isn't, it's just, it's cool bars. And he's probably right. If he probably stayed conscious, he probably would have a lot of people's fans. So, I think they made it definitely a great collaboration. There's no secret that these guys are friends. The video is cool too. So check that out after this review. Go check it out. After this, we get to a song called Just Another Day, which is almost like a remix-ish transformation song after 100, because it uses like the end of 100 to turn to a whole other song, where it's like an R&B-ish 80s type of vibe, but Game kind of like reminiscing about the days when he had just signed his deal and recording the first documentary. I'm really loving the bass line switch up on the hook, how it turns to that like G-Funk style. G-Funk is definitely it's almost like a lost art, so to speak, in terms of music nowadays. People kind of forget about it, think it's just the older pastime, it's like the early 90s, but just hearing that sound just sounds really refreshing, especially with Game representing his hood and where he's from, and that's where that originated from, that whole G-Funk sound. Then we get to the very last song on the album called LA, featuring Snoop Dogg, Fergie, and will.i.am, actually produced by will.i.am as well. What can I say about this song? The beat is really dope. It reminds me a lot of earlier Kanye. And the features are cool, but I gotta be extremely honest here. If it would have just had 3 verses of a Game, maybe feel like a tad bit more. I like Snoop. I like what Snoop does. I like what Fergie does. I like what will.i.am does. But I felt like Game could have really just provided 3 verses, and it would have been okay with me. Also love how the second beat switches up, because the first part's kind of like a happy-go-lucky, I'm in LA, I'm having a good time, which is cool. And it kind of switches back to kind of like some of the gangster stuff that we know the Game for, which really balances out the song. So overall, I'm really loving this track. He definitely has more than 6 or 7 or 8 standout songs. My theory, my metric is like, if it's over 7 songs, it's a pretty okay album. He has a lot of songs that I will definitely be playing over again. I can't wait to see how disc 2 matches up with disc 1, because it's a lot of songs. So he's giving you something of everything, so it's something for everybody, which I give him props for. And not a lot of artists in general, I was going to say lyricists, not a lot of artists in general can give you an album where you at least pull something that you like from it. And for me, as a Game fan, I was definitely pleased with this. A couple of songs he could have slid off every now and again, but in terms of an overall body of work, I was feeling it, and I can't wait to hear disc 2, if it either stays the same or steps it up just a taste. So what did you guys think of it? Please put in the comments what you thought about it. If you just heard the singles, if you heard the full song, if you heard the leak you should have been waiting for the album to drop. But if you didn't, what did you think? If you listened to it when it dropped, just give me your thoughts, put it in the comments, and I will shout you out in my next review. So let me know what you think. Also want to shout out everybody who's been commenting on my reviews. So my Janet Jackson review and my Tamar Braxton review is up, so check those out. So shout out to MST82, Atlanta Tamartian, Jamaica Rimble, That Guy, Dion's Music, Quincy Woods, Hope Carter, Cherubel 1979, Beyonce 79, Rose Toddy 1988, Pre929, BGM2666, Jason100, Latalia, hope I'm saying your name right, Latalia, Lana Knowles, Jaron Smith, Mr. Fan O Music 24, Manny G Forever, PHUCK Hugh2, shout out to you, Peachy King, Kyle Taylor, Mitzi Crisp. Mitzi Crisp has been one of the original followers and supporters. Shout out to her. Rhonda MC, Troy Baker, Charles Rand, Andre Hughes, Romel 1981, Shark 77573, DeAndrea Jefferson, Sunchild 1913, Nicole Lewis, and For the Love of Beyonce. Shout out to all you guys for commenting and supporting. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want me to shout you out, shout out a brand, whatever it is, just comment in the video, hit like, and show your boy some love. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this review. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Coast, to WOCoast.com for my hat. See the snapback. I'm loving them. They're supporting the movement. I really appreciate it. If you want to check out some more of their snapbacks, check out the website at coast2wocoast.com. It's in the description box. So click that link, check out that hat. Also, don't forget to check out the most recent episode of The Culture. We run down a list of R&B female singers who we think is either overrated or underrated. Hilarious episode. Please check it out, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. For more, tune into youtube.com/BMOCTV. Please subscribe, or BMOC.TV. I'm BMOC. Peace.